As a whole, the Psalms mean to me as a book of praise. It's a relatable book that we can all, the emotions that we have, everything that we're feeling, you can relate to it in the book of Psalms, from the highs to the lows.
As a whole, the Psalms are really, have become for me what I want my heart to look like.
An awareness of God and our enemies, of the positive and negative, of how God is always for us and wants us and seeks us, and how our enemy wants to tear us away from God and separate us from God.
Psalms as a whole so far have really meant to me connection with other believers. One of my big struggles is I tend to feel very isolated in the problems that I have or the struggles that I'm going through. Just being able to connect with the psalmist and how they're feeling and how they're reaching out to the Lord just makes me feel like I'm not so alone in feeling the way I feel or going through the struggles that I go through.
In the New Testament, there are 220 quotes of the Old Testament, and I heard that 120 of them came from the book of Psalms. So it's definitely something that's used and people can relate to it.
So the psalm that has spoken the most to me so far is Psalm 12, verse 2. Just with idle works they speak, each one to his neighbor, with flattering lips and a double heart. And that is both, to me, it has spoken to just gossiping about other people and how that is not glorifying to the Lord, but also just the words that I speak in a day, both to my kids and to other people, learning the weight of words and seeing that many things that we just speak out, not thinking about it, while it may be funny or valid in this world, it wouldn't be glorifying to the Lord.
Psalm 13 starts off with, "How long, O Lord?" And it ends with, "I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." We seek out God, we think he's not there, but he's always there, and he responds, and he's there for us and comforts us and protects us.
So far, I think it's Psalm 3, and it's around the area in verse 5, where it talks about that he's a shield, the Lord's my shield, the Lord will lift my head up. And it speaks of all the troubles that he's going through, and that he was able to sleep, and then the Lord sustained him, that he was able to rest in the promises of God, that he knew that God was there and that God was going to sustain him.
We have a 10-month-old and a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, so it's all a little bit crazy bringing it together and getting everyone to pay attention. But it's been really great. I try and read it in the morning with the girls just to start our day that way.
It has really opened the door and given us the opportunity just to have some more biblical-based conversations during the day. We have read the psalm a few times together. We have read it out loud to one another. We've also just talked about, like, my kids will say, "I don't get that," and we'll be able to talk through it and break it down and really understand what is this really saying? What does this really mean to us, and how can we apply it to our life? So it's just been a really cool thing that we're all doing. Even though we may be doing it separately, we're still doing it together, and it's still an opportunity for us to just share and talk to one another about it.
It's been great. We've been able to do it as a family. With having different kids at different ages, it's hard to kind of corral everybody together. But it's been nice to be able to set a specific time where we can all kind of get in there and get it together. My wife's been calling it our kind of family devotional time, so Beckham calls it the vocational time. But it works either way. If it's been fun, it's been good.
Well, Laura and I are writing the Psalms out in a journal book. And that kind of comes from Deuteronomy 17:18, where it talks about for the king is supposed to write for himself a copy of this law in a book. And God knows our minds and how that best works. He designed us, and writing things out is a very good way to remember things.
It's been challenging, to be able to get in there and things that they're not really sure about. We can tear in it together. We can look at different commentaries, different books, what other people are saying about it. Just try to get a good feel for what the Word of God's saying.
I think the greatest impact of reading the Psalms so far is just knowing and hearing again and again that God is near to me and is near to us, that He cares about the daily struggles of our life, that He cares about our feelings and our hurts and our worries, and that He's here to help us through those things. That's just been the consistent message again and again, that you're not alone, and I'm near to you, and I'm here to help you. So that's been really encouraging to know that I don't have to feel alone, that God is near to me, and that He cares for me where I'm at, and that I can cry out to Him for help.